Hello and welcome to my channel Becoming Bev. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all of the different places that I've parked the van. I've been living in the van full time for a little over 3 months. So I'll share with you all the different places I found to park and also some places that other people have suggested that I haven't tried out yet. Let me know in the comments if you've stayed at some interesting places or figured out different ways to stealth camp. I'd love to hear your feedback. All right, so I'm just gonna go down the list. Places I've parked the van overnight. I've stayed in hotel parking lots several times actually, and that typically works out pretty well. They're used to having cars parked there overnight. I also want to talk about a really good place that I found in Flaglerly Beach, Florida. I was going to Beverly Beach and I looked at this campground, right there on the beach. I stopped in and asked about it, got a brochure. It was ridiculously expensive and the RVs were just like right on top of each other. That's not really my style. So I found this place that had a sign out. It said 1 RV spot van life. So I call the number, I meet this guy Carrie who owns the house. What a find this was. I parked right there in his driveway. He's a total sweetheart. I just walked right across the street. I had a private entrance to the beach. There were hammocks there, and I got to see a rainbow. Oh my God, look at the rainbow! Wow, I wasn't expecting that. When I went to Big Bend National Park, the campgrounds were totally full there, and I got there after hours. So I drove to the camping area and parked overnight in the Overflow parking area. That worked out pretty good. I could still use the campground showers and the facilities, and I had a place to stay even when the campground was full. And I have booked campsites. When I went to Garter National Park, I stayed at their campground and paid for the site. That was nice too. Guadalupe State Park was another one that I got to after hours. So I just pulled into the camper parking area. There were plenty of spots. I got there late and I left early. I've stayed at Cracker Barrel parking lots a couple of times. I went in to have a meal and asked, just double check with the manager just to make sure that it's okay. And both times, they both said it's absolutely fine. When I met with Jason from the World Jason YouTube channel, we ended up meeting a group of people in downtown Orlando, and there was a special event going on. So I paid $5 to park in the special event parking lot. And I ended up finishing dinner a little bit late, and I really didn't feel like driving to find another parking spot. So I stayed in downtown Orlando in a paid parking lot. When I was in Sarasota, I stayed in a warehouse area. My friend GW Burns has a photo studio there, so I just parked in the warehouse area of his photo studio. And it was interesting, there was a box truck parked across the way that GW said, I suspect someone might be living in that box truck. So I had company on that one, I think. Now, one of the more interesting places that I stayed was just outside of Big Bend National Park. I saw some teepees off in the distance, so I thought, let me go check those out. I drove over to the area, and when I pulled in, someone was getting out of their car. So I asked them where the office was at because I just wanted a little tour of the teepee campground. And the woman says to me, oh, it's self-check-in. They don't have an office. So I thought, I pulled in the parking lot, got out and looked around. They had a nice shower facility, a nice bathroom. I ended up spending the night in the parking lot for the teepees. It was really cool to wake up the next morning and lower my window shade and see the teepees off in the background. Good morning. I woke up in Terralingua, Texas. And I ended up parking in a parking lot where teepees and yurts and stuff are rented. And it just so happens that they do self-check-in and they have an unlocked shower house. So that was kind of convenient. And look what I woke up to here. There are teepees right outside the window. That's kind of cool. If you've been watching my videos, you know my absolute favorite place to park the van are my friends' driveways. I've taken advantage of that probably 20 times now. Now, I've got to stay at some pretty sweet places. When I was in Inglewood, Florida, my friend Donna and her boyfriend's family had rented a beach house. They invited me to come and spend a few days there. I pull up into the driveway and there's these gorgeous banyan trees, and I had this little nook. I felt like I was parked in the jungle, and then just right outside the door, I just walked across a little walkway and I was right there at the beach. I appreciate them letting me hang out there. I actually did a double take on that one. I stayed there on my way down to Key West and then on my way back up from Key West. Mooch camping at my friend Jim Austin's driveway was pretty awesome too. Jim has a new girlfriend that he's spending a lot of time with. I pretty much had the place to myself, me and Jim's dog Bodie. We bonded during the time that I was there. Jim has a beautiful place on the water. I love his view, and I'm so thankful that he allowed me to stay there as long as he did. So to all of you who've let me mooch camp in your driveway, a heartfelt thank you. I also want to say that I think it's important to try to contribute. When I'm staying with my friends, if there's an opportunity for me to treat them to a meal, I do that. I'll bring a bottle of wine, I'll come with an hors d'oeuvre plate, and if I'm staying somewhere, I try to leave the place better than the way that it was when I found it. If there's trash to pick up, I do that. This isn't just about me taking. I feel like it's important that I leave a contribution as well. When I'm out there stealth camping, I want to be super courteous about my surroundings. I don't want to leave any trash in the area. I don't want to dump liquids out. I don't want to ruin it for the next person coming along, basically is what I'm saying. And I'm not going to get out of the van and set up my lawn chair and set up camp. If I need to do anything that requires me to be outside of the van, I'm probably going to do that at a different location and not the location that I end up spending the night in the van in. Now, a few places that I hear other people talk about staying that I haven't tried yet, but I would absolutely be open to trying in the future, of course, are Walmart parking lots. And from what I understand now, it's up to the manager whether they want to allow people to park there overnight or not. And I believe that there's an app you can find that tells you which Walmarts are open to having people park in them overnight and which ones aren't. I also know people that have parked at Cabella's. Apparently they're open to having RVs spend the night in their parking lot. Also places like Home Depot or Lowe's. And then places that I thought of too that I haven't stayed at yet, the parking lot of like a bar or a nightclub or a casino, you know, places that are used to having people possibly leave their vehicles there overnight. I think 24-hour gyms would also be a good option, and maybe hospitals or parking ride locations. I stayed in Boca Raton, Florida with my friend Marcy. I ended up parking in the driveway to her condo, but as I was looking around, I thought apartment complex parking lots might work out really well, actually, especially if they have a swimming pool that's accessible, because then you could go in and use the bathroom and use the shower that's attached to the swimming pool. It's interesting now when I'm driving along in the van and I'm just kind of like, I have my peripheral vision out, and as I'm looking around, I just imagine I could park there. So it's kind of interesting how your awareness changes to your surroundings. Now I drive down the road thinking of different places that I could park out if I needed to. If you're considering van life, there are lots of options for places to park, but I will say that sometimes it's a bit unnerving, like not knowing where you're going to park. And at the same time, it's a bit exciting not knowing where you're going to park. I think the blackout curtains are super important for stealth camping overnight. I can put these blackout curtains down and I feel like it's like a little cave inside of here. And just to let you know too, there are a few apps that I use. I use an app called iOverlander. That's pretty good for helping you find free places to park. So thanks for watching today. Remember to like and subscribe. I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time. You keep watching and I'll keep posting content.